Hello, friends, and welcome to Binge O'Clock, the podcast where we watch something and then we talk about it. I'm Joy Selden. I've seen almost everything.
I'm Danielle, and I've seen almost nothing.
I'm Nella. I have a wine glass full of ice, a belly full of brassicas smothered in garlic, and, I don't know. Let's do this.
And that is what one needs to wrap up Fringe.
That's right, folks. We're whapping it up.
Silly wabbit.
Take another run at it. That's right, folks. We're wrapping up Fringe. This episode, we are wrapping up the entire show, but we are also talking about the last two episodes, season 5, episodes 12 and 13, where we restarted time.
Where we saved a boy, but not his father. And there were many, 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 many season 1 and 2 callbacks, which is kind of fun.
Yes. Although no Charlie, which is fine.
Hopefully he found, I don't know, another gig somewhere and they couldn't bring him back.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, because they brought everyone else back, you know? Well, I guess not Brandon. We didn't see Brandon.
I would have liked to see AU Astrid again. I hope she's okay.
I'm sure
I think about her a lot.
Fine. Everyone else was fine.
Everyone else was fine. They were looking good in the alternate universe. It's nice to know the sexy universe is still happening.
Still sexy.
Still sexy. Still doing it.
I mean, faux Olivia will never shake her bangs. Lincoln isn't wearing Peter's gift anymore, which I was a little bit sad about, but fine.
Oh, that's true. I forgot. Maybe he gave it to his son. I think Lincoln is the kind of father who would give something like that to his son.
I want it to be like baby's first crush. You know, his son has his first crush and his father's like, well, son, when I had my first crush. And then he just sits him down and gives him a pair of glasses. Now these really did it for me. Back in the day.
Correct.
Oh, Lord.
Sorry, listeners. This episode is kind of just going to be like that.
I mean, but it has to be. It has to be because they're just, you know, a lot happened in these last two episodes, but also not a lot happened. It was a lot of goodbyes. It was a lot of tying ribbons on things, you know, a couple sad, long looks. And,
the
you know,
pacing
like a
was
final
all
twist.
the pacing was all over the place.
Yeah.
Sorry, I totally trampled.
There was just, no, it's fine. It's just because the pacing was all over the place because there was so much they had to do and so much they had to accomplish, and they gave themselves zero time to do it.
I think it suffers a little bit from the Return of the King problem of, like, been with these characters for so long, but no one knows how to really end it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we can't do the scouring of the Shire because we've already defeated, like, the big bad. And it feels weird to then, like, still have another fight that needs to happen, even though thematically it makes sense. Bite me. Yeah, I have feelings about the scouring of the Shire. At me.
I mean, look, wars don't end cleanly. Like, war is not a D&D game where, like, you cut off the head of the zombie king and then all the other zombies die. Like, that's not how this works.
Especially in this war in particular, because they very explicitly weren't going to kill anyone, technically, weren't going to fight anything. They were just going to hit a button and reset time. Like, it's really hard to make that exciting.
Yeah. And especially since, like, again, back to it didn't feel like there were really stakes. It didn't feel like there was a time crunch, except for some, you know, very particular moments. Like, so then it's hard to sort of compare season 5 to the rest when I think season 4, for all that they do to William Bell and how much I dislike it, at least felt like an ending, and it felt like a stronger ending than what happened here.
Right.
Yeah. I agree. And also
they went really big, really fast.
Yeah. And it didn't have, as much as we dislike what they did with William Bell, it didn't have the same kind of, well, okay, I mean, that's weird and dumb, but at least it makes sense. At least it makes plot sense that, like, the things leading up to that, okay, this is why you created monsters. This is why, you know, you handled David Robert Jones, Jared Harris, the way you did. This is why all of these dominoes fell into place. This was like, thank God September knows future history so he can tell everybody, hey, we have to bring the boy back to this one scientist in this 1 year to make sure observers don't happen.
Deus Ex Donald.
Yes.
Yeah,
there.
and also, like, it doesn't actually make sense that the boy needs a guide because he's not a child.
He's
right?
not a child.
And Walter hasn't met this other scientist either, right? So why is
Nope.
Walter a better guide than Michael himself? What they're going to do is they're going to show Walter a picture of the scientist and be like, look for this person.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in theory, Walter could help by communicating everything to this other scientist because Michael is kind of incapable of communicating, but...
Yeah, the thing you need for Michael is you do need somebody to kind of lead him around by the hand because it's not like he speaks, which in a society that, you know, requires speech, I hate saying it that way, but that's essentially what you do.
I think we can pretty much assume on how the universe went, we're not exactly better towards people who are nonverbal in this future. So, yeah, unfortunately.
Nope. Yeah. But, you know, also he doesn't, like, even if he was nonverbal, like, he doesn't communicate the same way that other human beings would. And at this point in time, we're talking about human beings and not observers. So it would be even stranger, right, for him to try and, like, communicate with anybody. And I assumed it's not so much a guide as it is somebody to translate and somebody to, like, we come from the future. Please trust us when we tell you, you know, the thing you're about to do will, you know, set humanity on a path of, like, of self-destruction.
I really wish we had actually had Michael as a character instead of a football.
I know.
Because Michael feels like an autistic character written by people who have no idea what the inner lives and what being autistic is at all, you know? And I think it suffers for that because if he's supposed to be like this better version of humans, I don't think the show knows how to depict that in a way that says this is a kinder, better way of what our future could be. And instead he's a football. You treat him like a football. You infantilize him as a football. And the more I think about the character of Michael and the fact that this is like a, you know, not a kid. It is an adult in a child's body. Like,
observers are never children.
Yeah.
They don't child. They instantly.
And this one especially has literally been alive for decades.
Yeah.
It weirds me out. The more I think about it, the more it weirds me out. And the more, as I said, it feels like people who do not understand what it is to be autistic writing an autistic Jesus. I don't know how else to describe it.
Well, it's so unfortunate, right? Because we've gotten other child characters who are very fleshed out and we understand why they're there and what they're doing and they have their own agency, even though they're children. Like they have, you know, they have their own wants and needs and information. Michael from the beginning has really just been how he affects those around him. Like even way back in season 1, it's not about Michael. Not really. It's like this weird phenomenon child we found eating rats in a basement in a building, but we didn't really find him. Someone else had to be like, you know, like mind controlled into finding him. You know, like it's such a strange. We don't know his hopes and dreams. Okay, so not to completely just switch topics, but on this topic, I think the closest I can describe it is I've recently been watching Blacklist, and they fall into this pitfall of telling you a character is important without exactly making them important, without really showing it. And they do this with Michael. Fringe does this with Michael. We're telling you he's important. And I mean, he's a very important character because of what he means to September/Donald and what he means to the team and how he communicates with them and how he endears himself to them. But like, we're constantly told he's important. And I'm like, yeah, every child's important. Okay. Like, what?
You bring up a really good point because like, it's never enough for the show that it's just like, but he's like, this is my child, and therefore, like, I would do anything to protect my child. No, it's always, your son's important because of another entirely different reason. It's not enough that you love them and then therefore they're important. And that makes, like, we had that whole episode with the other observer about how love itself is enough to make someone important. Like, that's all it takes. You just have to notice and love someone, and then they have purpose.
You did
and,
this
like,
already.
Their life has meaning. We already, like, and we
did
dropped
that. But that was a lie. You know, like that was that character thinking that is what makes you important, right? But in this show, Michael is important not because anyone loves him and not because of what he does. He's important because he exists. That's
exactly
it. And that's why he's treated like, I don't like it. Like, I don't love that, but that is what makes him important. It's literally his very existence. And he doesn't have to do anything with it except to make sure that it keeps on going, which is unfortunate, you know. And I think that I had a different read on his character, which is less that they were trying to write a certain kind of thing, but more of an Astrid problem, where they created something that they thought they needed and then just didn't know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. What do I do with this?
What do I do with this extremely important child who's going to rewrite history? I guess we just have him sit there, and then I guess we just have him get himself captured for what appears to be still no reason. Like, even after they free him. And, like, did she just need to be juiced up on Cortexiphan? Because
exactly. Like, I don't think this show does a good job of decentering Walter. Like, this show doesn't do a good job of decentering the same people. We've talked about this in previous episodes, right? Like, why does it keep on coming back to this conflict that we are so tired of?
Yes.
Because the show doesn't know how to do that.
The show doesn't know how to do that. I mean, look, I understand the symmetry of having two fathers of sons at the end of a show, you know, wanting to protect their kids and wanting what's best for them. And sometimes that means sacrifice. And, like, having the growth of Walter be like, yes, and I sacrifice my life with you, Peter, because I should have done that in the first place. Because I literally stole you from another universe. And maybe here's where we talk about it. Here's what bothers me more than everything else about these last two episodes is if you rewrite time, this future doesn't exist.
I already told you how I fix it. Whatever.
No, I know. But, like, if you make observers not happen, I know what happens is Walter is so obsessed with the alternate universe that he probably steals his son anyway. But if you make observers not happen, the only thing that happens is our Walter's son dies. He watches the other Walter create a cure and save his son. And then he never steals his son.
Oh, so are you saying Peter should be dead?
No, I'm saying Peter in the alternate universe is still alive and walking around and never meets our Olivia and never, you know, his entire trajectory is different.
We don't know which Peter this is or which Olivia.
No, but if observers don't happen, then September never observes Walternate in his Harvard, whatever, when he's trying to find a cure, and he doesn't make him miss it. He doesn't make him miss the fact that he found a cure and cures Peter.
Wait. Like, I think I'm misunderstanding. Like, I are you saying that Peter should be dead?
Yeah, I think that our Walter's Peter always dies. Alternate Peter always lives. Alternate Peter just needs to find his way to our Olivia, because that's the couple that always needs to happen across any universe.
What if, and now hear me out.
Correct.
Our Peter dies, alternate Peter lives, and he just found his Olivia.
It wouldn't, no, because it wouldn't be the same. Like, maybe they would stoop and, like, they might have a relationship, but it wouldn't work out as well. And then somehow some mad science would happen. The universes would still combine. He would cross over. He would meet our Olivia. And then whoopsie-daisy, he found his true love. I think you can easily, I've already got the fix-it fic. It totally still works. It's just he didn't grow up on our side of the universe, but he still meets Olivia, our Olivia. They, there's still crisis because the two universes combine tragically. Unfortunately, we fix it. Everything's fine. He has to choose between the two worlds, the one he was raised in his entire life, or this one that at least it has coffee and the Olivia I really like. You're welcome.
Being that they never speak, is the fandom truly convinced that this is our Peter and our Olivia? Because, they don't talk. How do we know that?
They talk. Wait, what do you mean they don't talk?
They don't say anything that reveals which one they are. It's
fair.
just we better go home, let's get our daughter.
Yeah. The thing that makes me think there are Peter and Olivia is because the dream sequence they've been having for the entire 5th season is them in the park having these words back and forth. Ella runs to them. Peter opens his arms and never actually picks up his little girl because the observers show up. But in the very end of the show, he gets to pick up his girl and the music swells and then they go home and he gets the white tulip, which...
To your point, it has to be the Peter that's from the alternate universe that was brought over because Walter says it twice. We stole time together. I stole time with you. So therefore, it has to be that this is the alternate Peter that he literally stole. So that still has to be a reality in which his Peter died. The observers interrupted the cure. He stole Peter to cure him. I think that still happens. And also the fact that he's haunted by the ghost of his lab assistant. She's dead, so therefore, something killed her. I think those elements still exist and still are part of the characters' backstories, even though, we've torn the two universes apart and put a partition between them, and we've, forced a fix in time and space, but then the observers came,
Yeah.
I think that still holds true about the two universes. Once Peter is able to remake a connection because he had purpose and he had an effect on people and you can't actually erase him because he had a son.
Yeah.
I'm still mad about that.
Yeah. Look, I will say this. This Peter is the Peter we have had for the entire show. He is the only one who has remained 100% consistent with all the alternate timelines, right? He is the Peter that we will always have and have always have. There can only be one. You're welcome. The Olivia we have has the imprinted memories from Peter's time, from the correct Peter's timeline. But we're also living in a world where that Olivia also shot her dad and killed him when she was a child. There's stuff that is different. This Walter killed both Peters and then just remembers everything else.
I don't think Peter's the problem, is I think what we're getting at.
I don't think Peter's the problem. I think if you take away the observer, but also, actually, Nella, when we finished watching it, because I am who I am, I rewound it all the way back to one of those 1985 episodes, and I was like, this moment, the moment where September interrupts Walternate, now never happens because the observers never happened.
And because he didn't interrupt him, he saw the cure, he cured his own son, but now you can come up with another reason why the two universes cross paths, because Walter and Walternate start around and finding out.
Yes.
Because we just have another reason and it happens further down the line. You kick that can down the line because don't look me in the eye and tell me that Walter Bishop doesn't find another way of breaking time and space.
I gotta say, when you said shtup before, I was worried you weren't gonna curse at all in the last episode. And I was like, nope, here it is.
It's funny that we're having this conversation because I always just assumed that was original universe Peter.
Oh, what? Wait.
Really, I just thought it was just that Peter never died.
No.
For the 5th season, you mean?
Yeah. No. At the end of the 5th season. What if Walter's Peter survived?
Oh.
No, I always read it as, we've always followed alternate Peter. Original Peter was always meant to die.
That's honestly what I always thought, too. I always thought original Peter was meant to die. Now, you can read it that way also. If you reset the timeline, maybe other things happened. Because, again, the observers have been observing...
reset timeline.
The observers have been observing all of time and space. You're telling me they didn't change anything else?
Right.
A butterfly flaps its wings and our Peter doesn't die. I don't know.
Yeah. Or, the observer still exists. They just have intelligence and empathy. right?
Sure.
To your point, right? The observers could exist. It's just a different version of them, a kinder, gentler, and more empathetic version of them somehow, some
They can
way.
still be, time travelers that
Exactly.
but it's more like for holiday than for, fact finding for a mission of colonialism
of apocalyptic nature.
Or it's more like the original 12 where they actually do just go and watch.
Yeah.
For fun.
Which, by the way, can we talk about September and August having that, moment at the end of it all?
I know.
I really liked, not August, I'm sorry. September and December.
December, yeah.
And I love that September was when we first came to this time and we started having feelings and December was like, well, we agreed not to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you shove those feelings down.
Ones who got out of control. The rest of us just tamped it down.
It's all right. You can all have your gay panic later. It's fine.
It's fine. Sorry, folks. I know you're probably expecting us to talk about these 2 episodes, but I feel like...
But then, why? Nothing happens.
Those are, we did it. Those are the 2 episodes.
What, can we talk about?
The only thing we didn't mention was broils.
Yes.
The only thing we didn't mention was broils, which actually I thought was the only part of that episode that was...
Actual stakes.
Interesting. Yes, interesting. It had actual stakes. Like the fact that Broyles was in a room and could maybe die, and we had to go and save him.
Because we've already lost Nina, right? And of course we're sitting there being like, not Broyles, anyone but Broyles.
And Broyles twice. Like, come on, don't make us lose Broyles twice.
I know. We only lost Nina once.
We only lost Charlie once, technically. Just the other one never came back from his honeymoon.
The other one just never came back from his honeymoon.
He and Spider Lady just went off, had a grand old time.
You know what? He went on insect adventures with his wife.
Exactly. Exactly. So yes, I think those were real stakes, them going to save Broyles. And then, of course, like I said, weaponizing all of those early Fringe cases was actually quite fun. I'm glad that we saw the murder butterflies again. Love murder butterflies.
Okay, no, wait.
Yes.
Wait. No.
You don't love the murder butterflies?
No, the whole point of the murder butterflies was that it was all in one guy's head because he was obsessed with butterflies. No one else was going to see murder butterflies. Murder butterflies weren't actually the swear jar thing. Don't swear jar. Give me murder butterflies. It's not correct. No, don't sit there and tell me, oh yeah, there's also an observer who is obsessed with murder butterflies and he's afraid of them. No, don't you do that. No, you're not allowed. You're not allowed. No, I reject it. We never should have seen murder butterflies ever again. I'm so mad about murder butterflies.
You know what my favorite part about that was? You could have done anything else.
But then we wouldn't have known it was murder butterflies.
But you could have had bats or snakes or something. And then all you would have need to have was someone else look at him and be like, what's wrong with you? And he's fighting nothing.
Because again, this is the problem with season 5 where we understand the optics of a thing, but we don't understand its purpose.
Exactly.
Like murder butterflies.
Murder butterflies. I forget which case it was that caused someone's head to explode, because I was kind of watching the things as they were happening. And we had the closing orifices, we had the murder butterflies, we had the giant cold virus coming out of someone's mouth. But there was someone's head, there was someone who was just lying on the ground, and their whole body was fine, but their head was exploded.
It was the 6th episode of the first season, The Cure. It's the one that took place in the diner. Remember the diner, and then everyone's head exploded?
It was like a radioactive
with hazmat suits.
isotope something.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it was causing people's heads to boil and explode. But then again, the whole point of that one, Ein Minute bitte.
Yeah.
The whole point of that one was that it was women were being targeted to become irradiated weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, because of medical therapy.
They were focusing on people suffering from Bellini's lymphomisia, which again, remember that one where I'm just why would you name? Well, you have all women victims who suffer from a disease that's named after a delightful brunch drink. I feel targeted. Thank you.
I hear your frustration, and Nella, it was cool.
But it's not why brains exploded.
Because it's cool.
We have a reason why heads were exploding, and it involved kidnapping women, making them experiments of a cruel system, and then while they overheated from it, them being victims themselves.
This is just when I, the GM, I'm gonna slap a card on the table, and the card says, Rule of Cool.
No! I reject it.
So many good titles for this episode all at once.
Much like the anti-gravity osmium.
No, there isn't. There needs to be an internal logic. I've been taking notes, Danielle. You can't just tell me that something happens one way and then be like, but it would be cool if it just happened right now. Not when there are rules, Danielle. There must be some sort of logical consistency to the rules of this universe.
Those rules existed in the other universe, and we all know that other universe has ceased to exist.
Do not do that to me. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Danielle, don't you dare.
This is the writers of this show. This is also the writers of this show, too.
Like, this is also where it drives me crazy, because, again, you had two different porcupine men. Which porcupine man corpse is in your basement? Like, how many of these happen the way we remember? Like, that's where it drives me nuts, because I'm like, you could do whatever you want, because technically we don't actually know how we got here. Like, we know how we got here, but like...
Granted, like, much like lifting Michigan off a map, there are ramifications to changing things.
Who's Andrew Jackson?
It's not about
I've already
fate,
said my
Nella.
piece.
Yours or mine. It's about changing fate.
That's not how
I'm just
going
to gently quote the show at you.
No, you can't do a callback to season 1 and then change the parameters of how the exploding heads work. No, Danielle, I reject it. Get behind me, Satan.
I reject your reality and substitute my own. Look, there was a lot lacking in season 5.
Yes.
There were no stakes. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of lazy authoritarianism, which I don't know if that was a choice or just plot device.
So many foolhardy plans.
Oh,
quite honestly, Donald didn't need to die.
No.
Because I don't understand why they were surrounded by gunfire and just, going back and forth with their machine guns with the loyalists when they have all of these other weapons at their disposal. They should have just wiped the loyalists right out, and then there wouldn't be gunfire everywhere, and then Donald wouldn't have died.
It's almost like if you all wore gas masks and threw a bunch of things out there.
Yes, that's actually in my notes. It is actually in my notes. Were there not enough gas masks to go around?
Just take the one that you gave Broyles back, put it on Donald.
Granted, they were in an open air space. I guess, benefit of the doubt, they were worried that local communities could get infected by whatever it is they released.
But like even that, there were so many foolhardy plans that happened, and this is the one where we're quote unquote cautious. Like, I don't think caution was a huge thing on the chalkboard when they were figuring out these plans.
Very true.
I want them to be cautious. That doesn't mean they actually were, because so many, New York in 30 minutes. You don't have to worry about getting caught in, like,
I know.
Regardless of 30 minutes, right? You don't have to worry about getting caught at a checkpoint. It doesn't matter that you're fugitives. No one's ever going to see your face. Like, what?
I know.
You just assume they're going to show up because the observers are so bad at being like, I guess, surveillance state, but kind of not really. Like,
until they're really on top of it.
I was going to say, who they're really good at keeping an eye on? The original 12. For some reason.
Why would you put a tracker in your original 12? Why would you put a tracker on every single human being? Put them on the loyalist.
I really wish you of this visual medium could see the look on my face right now, because I am also deeply upset by that. Like, what the heck?
The original 12 and not everyone associated with the Resistance, not everyone associated with the Fringe, the original Fringe team.
Yeah.
But no, you see, Danielle, we have to have churches of truth.
Churches of
and
truth.
Obviously we can't like put trackers in the population that we work with on a daily basis because we trust them or it's I don't know. I don't know why. This is allowed.
Because
I don't know why it works this way. Again, because we're in a video game and we haven't triggered the cutscene yet.
That's exactly what it is.
And you can walk around entire Manhattan talking to NPCs who are all dressed in like the height of 40s fashion. And like, and
that
just
woman
like,
with the dog.
I know the woman with the dog. I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed by the fascism cosplay that happens in season 5.
Those shoes, that hat, that coat. The fact that they were so scared, the most threatening thing to them when they were setting up a window to the universe in full view of everyone was a woman and her dog. I
literally do not understand why then if fashion is so different for like the people who work with the observers, why wouldn't you then dress up like them to blend in better? But no, you're still wearing your jeans and your leather jackets because like reasons like the fashion difference is just so stark. It's almost like it's really ridiculous.
You know what it feels like? It feels like the rebel scum versus the Empire. Like you're gonna
seriously.
Are you wearing an orange jumpsuit? Fight. You know,
seriously.
And also, the leather jacket is cool.
The leather jacket is cool. Okay, now
Olivia tried on those jeans and she never took them off. Joy.
Wear the blacks and grays. Just wear the blacks and grays. Wear a little black dress. It's fine. Okay, so what? Obviously, season 5 is our least favorite season. Is there something you liked about season 5? Like even just a moment, or like
Donald,
or like a plot
the reveal
line
of Donald. The reveal of Donald.
Donald, yeah.
That one really did it for me. Look, I do enjoy how Olivia rescues Michael. I do enjoy that, you know, because it's just got that good, okay, we're going to get in the spot we need to be, then we're going to jump to where we need to go, and then we're going to get to the spot we need to be, then we're going to jump into that alternate universe, and then we're going to try and get out.
Yeah.
I loved how that stacked. I loved how, of course, like with all those, whenever you make a plan like that, it all goes wrong.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I actually felt like there were stakes.
Yes.
Imagine that. Unbelievable. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that part because, you know, and we talk about a lot about how season 5 has these like earlier season callbacks. I'm grateful that they had a reason to bring Cortexiphan back into it, you know, and to bring her power back into it, you know.
Like an actual legitimate reason.
Yeah.
Yes. And I like when she smushed Windbark because
that was good. It was satisfying.
That was very satisfying. I like what they did with Astrid in the last couple of episodes. I feel like Astrid actually got to do very real, very useful things in these last couple of episodes. And if
she had
only
a lot
they
of
had
great suggestions.
Exactly. If only they had let her do that for the entire season or this entire show, right?
Right.
But great.
Yeah.
You know what? Better late than never. I will take it.
I'm still mad that we did the stupid thing of like by season 5, we're still not calling her the right name.
Except at the very last moment, I guess.
I know, but like I feel like we've already had that moment in an earlier season. Like we should have just put the joke to bed. Just like put it to bed, put it to pasture. You can't even put Jean to pasture, but you could put that joke to pasture. Just do it.
Poor Jean.
I think
Jean. She didn't even get her outdoor day.
I know. She's just been in
last
Amber for 20 years.
Outdoor day.
Justice for Jean.
A day in the park with Jean.
What
did you like in season 5, Joy?
I like both. I like both of those things. I really enjoy, you know, Donald in September in season 5. For all that he kind of was the football, I liked that Michael had a purpose by the time Windmark was alone in the room with him, because Windmark gets the feedback of trying to read him, and instead it just hurts him. And I liked that it was like, oh, look, a thing that Michael kind of just does naturally, that it looks like he's not even trying to do. And it's like, it's this personification of this is what you could have been, and you are lesser because you are not this.
I mean, I both like and dislike that, because Michael comes across as a very passive character, right? You know, in that scene, I don't get the sense that Michael is doing it intentionally.
Oh, absolutely
He just
not.
has this, it's like a turtle.
Yeah.
He is like an observer turtle who you can't crack.
But that's why it's so good, because it's Windmark. It's Windmark trying his damnedest, and it doesn't matter. And he's
so
only
there is
hurting
that
himself.
pleasure of seeing someone like, stop hitting yourself, Windmark. Stop hitting yourself.
Yeah, I think we even said that while we were watching it.
Yeah. And I think there, I don't know, I'm a little torn about this, because I enjoy seeing a character who has power in their passivity. Like, their power is in that you cannot hurt them actually in this way, that you have so easily hurt other people. And that makes you like weak in that moment. And I like seeing that. But then again, like, I still struggle with the fact that, like, to me, Michael is treated like a football. Yeah. And like, I wish Michael was, I really do wish we had more of Michael as a character instead of just like this thing that nobody can really understand, because Michael is beyond us.
Well, the biggest problem is they had Michael in season 1 be a character. Like, Michael helps them literally figure out a case. Like, he gives them clues that they wouldn't have seen otherwise. Like,
we completely lose that in season 5.
And we completely lose it in season 5. And it's, you know, and it's unfortunate. I'm not happy about what happened with Michael, but at the same time, it's like, I'm also just like, I don't know what happened to Michael in the 20 years of like watching other observers take over this world. And like, maybe he did just like, you know, his brain did atrophy a little bit, because he was only with 2 people for 20 whole years.
He was living in an abandoned basement of a building.
No. I'm talking about season 5, Michael. Season 5, Michael lived with an old couple for 20 years, not doing really anything.
And so he could have possibly retreated into himself, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I feel like if he is an advanced version of an observer, and if he is really supposed to be empathetic and have access to his emotions and grew up around 2 humans, I don't know. I don't know that it makes sense that he can no longer communicate with Olivia, at least.
Yeah.
Like, tell it, not verbally, but like the way he used to, you know?
I think
what's the word I'm looking for? Empathically?
I mean, empathically. He was an
yeah,
empath.
like it doesn't make sense that he can't communicate with her empathically the way he used to me.
Fair.
It's just, it's weird, because you kind of get the sense that, you know, for the last 20 years, he's been cared for and loved. Mm-hmm. These people cared for him as they would a kid and someone, I don't know, and a family member.
But that's exactly my point. Like, he's been comfortable for the last 20 years, albeit in the way that, like, you have to, you know, be in hiding and you can't go outside and you can't see other people. But the Michael that we met in season 1 had been alone for several years in a basement without, you know, direct food source, without basically a feral child, because it's the feral child episode. And like, he reached out for connection.
Why would alone make you an empath, though? And not alone would make you not an empath?
Well, because he was reaching out for help in season 1. He was like, don't abandon me. Do not abandon me. Don't send me with these people. These people are bad people. Find me other people. Like, it was a desperation in season 1. And here it's just kind of like, he's just there.
Yeah.
And I think that is a failing of the writers.
It's like he should be desperate, though, right?
Yes.
Because if he truly understands the world around him, and we have to assume that he does, right? Because again, he's not a child and he grew up in this world. If he understands the world around him, he should be desperate, right?
He should.
I'm not keen on he's a more communicative character because of stress and danger. And because, like, he was cared for and loved, like, he's now more inscrutable. I don't know if
he's not, again, the stakes in season 5 don't exist. He's not portrayed in any kind of, if he was actually trying to protect himself, he wouldn't have gone with Windmark. Like, if he was actually trying to protect the team, he wouldn't have gone with Windmark. Like, all of these things don't make any sense. Like, it's almost like he understands that Windmark will hurt himself if he tries to read him. But, like, that's not... He can see the future. Like, he knows that eventually he'll be dissected. Like...
Or that eventually Olivia will save him.
Or why put yourself in the position anyway to put Olivia through all of that to save you? Like...
you are right.
Because Olivia had to get shot up with cortexiphan in order to squash Windmark.
That's the other problem I have with the end of season 5. I like that they had a reason for cortexiphan to come back. I thought cortexiphan would have an additional reason. Because, like, now she's juiced with cortexiphan. Maybe we don't have to send him back into the past. Maybe she can do something else.
She can kill Windmark. That's what she can do with it.
I don't know. She was trying to collapse 2 worlds before. Maybe she could close all the stuff and then the observers just die. I don't know.
No, I think you have a point, though, with, we have this big setup of Michael leaving the train.
Yes.
Why would he do that? And then
to save Olivia.
To save Olivia, to save the team in that moment, right? There's this implication that, like, because he's, like, this so much greater, like, observer, like, he has, in a way, like, he can see more opportunities, I guess, like, other paths. But, like, I mean, a part of me... Again, like, person of interest. Like, all I can think about is, like, is this, like, the machine, like, being, like, you have one opportunity to kill, like, Samaritan, and I need you to do this, please. I need you to trust me. Trust me on this, please. And no one does.
Or, Doctor Strange moment, right? I've seen all possible futures, and there's one.
And we have just one,
And this is the one. This is the one where I step off the train, and Olivia shoots herself up full of cortexiphan so that she can save me, and then uses all her juice to kill Windmark. That's the one.
But again, because Michael is treated as a football instead of a character,
right.
We'll never know why he did it. We can just make assumptions.
I think ultimately this is the failing of the actual storytelling of what it was. For all I know, there could be stuff on the cutting room floor that made more sense. Like,
that's fair.
I don't know if there were pieces of script that they tossed because it didn't make sense. I don't know if they tried a couple other things and it just narratively it didn't work. Having him as a football is a really easy thing to do, and they did it. Hooray. So let's stop talking about season 5 because obviously it's all of our least favorite seasons.
Well, I am just kind of checking the time, Joy, and we might actually just want to only talk season 5. If you know what I'm saying.
I can't get over those murder butterflies. I'm so mad about murder butterflies. Again, once more, they have made me angry about murder butterflies. They did it the first time, and I thought, oh, you got me then. And then in the 11th hour, they made me angry about murder butterflies once more.
All they had to do was not.
Yes.
That's it. That's the whole comment. All they had to do was not do that. That's it. But they didn't. They did not do that.
No, they went back to season 1. They went back to season 1 and they realized, oh no, like all of those cool things like have very specific triggers, but what if we just aerosoled it?
I mean, I'm a little sad we didn't see like a body just crumpled on the floor because that was actually an aerosol.
Like the bone powder or whatever.
The bone powder that was literally actually a weapon.
Right? Right? Give me some skin bags. I asked for so little.
I also still don't understand why you don't just mass produce the one that deletes orifices, because I feel like then you just win every fight.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Eventually they can't breathe and in 2 minutes they die. Like,
it's like the one character in D&D who's like, yes, I know it's a 1-level spell, but if I cast it at the 3rd level and I just keep casting it, it's actually super effective.
Yeah.
Hear me out.
It's someone who's hacked the system of D&D. And they're just like,
what if my one punch was just super effective?
I mean, to be fair, I have created a character who literally brings their fist to a gunfight because their fists can break the fight instantly.
It's like when I build a druid. It's like when I build a druid in D&D, and I'm like, I feel like we're not really respecting Thornwhip as much as we could be. I feel like it's got more punch than you think. Hear me out.
Thornwhip is kind of broken. If you start playing a bunch of Thornwhip, it's totally cool in my game. I just have to beef up my monsters. It's fine. Thornwhip does mess up some stuff.
I've let you know.
I mean, hey, listen, I don't know how caught up you all are on the Adventure Zone, but to their point, when we play D&D, we're not making a podcast about it, so we really can just punch a thing the same way over and over and over again. It's fine, because we're not trying to entertain anyone.
I did like that of like, this is the second time I played a monk. Oh no, I've done this to myself. I cast punch.
I punch again.
I punch again. Yeah, now you know why Magnus punches him 6 times, because guess what? That's all Magnus can do. You're welcome.
All right, we're getting distracted. I would love to just sit here and talk D&D the rest of the night with you both, but we do need to wrap this up.
One more things.
Although we can totally talk D&D after this, don't get me wrong. I'm very here for it.
Off the pod. Okay, one more things. Do we have one? It could be season 5, one more thing, or it could be finale 2 episodes, one more thing. How about that?
Look, I really love Broyles recognizing that he's been burned, seeing the cars coming. I really wanted him, and I know this is just me shitposting, I really wanted him to go through a drive-through, maybe take a long walk on a beach, really milk I'm just going out for a drive. I need to clear my head like a human does.
Yes.
Like the
Go to the grocery store, buy some soup, buy an apple pill.
Sit at a
just
bar,
continue
get a drink.
his day.
Read a book.
Yes.
Follow me all you want.
You're right.
I'm just doing stuff.
That is what he should have done. Why do you act so suspicious?
Well, because they literally had information on him. But a part of me is just I feel like we could have kept driving. I mean, he did keep driving.
But this is they don't know that I know that they know, right?
I know.
They don't know that he knows. They don't know that he knows that they have the information.
They're trying to be stealthy about it. I'm just go through a drive-through.
Exactly. He could have acted like he didn't know that they listened to his windshield.
Yeah.
And then just had a regular day.
Now I want Broyles goes to Jersey for White Castle.
I will accept this
because to be
only.
fair, the one in Queens closed.
I will accept this only if Astrid goes with him and he takes some LSD before he goes.
Yes, this is fair. Wait,
the one
in Queens didn't. The one in Queens didn't close. It's still open. Holy God! I thought they shut that one down.
There we go.
Good news, everyone. If you're ever in Rego Park, Queens, there's a White Castle.
The White Castle Broyles should have visited.
Absolutely. Right? I really enjoyed the the way Windmark rage healed himself.
Yes.
He was hurt 1 minute, and then he was so mad he was okay. It was so strange. It was one of those things where you don't really know how he got okay, but you assume it's from the rage. Because
from the rage.
He's so mad in that moment.
From the rage and the hate he feels. I kind of do enjoy that about him, actually. I enjoy that he stuck around long enough to catch feelings, and the feelings he caught were anger and hate.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, I mean, that kind of, okay, I guess I technically have one more things. I liked his Agent Smith talk to Broyles.
Yes.
Of essentially, I had to pause it and turn to Nella and be like, this is Windmark's, it's the smell, if there is such a thing, moment.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly it. You infected us.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, with feelings.
He caught feelings. And he was so mad. I also love that he told his superior, and his superior was like, I mean, just keep yourself in check, I guess. I don't know what to tell you.
I was going to say, I continue to love his relationship with his superior. I continue to love the idea that when Mark is like, but this big thing, and the superior is like, what big thing?
I know.
Like, we're fine. We're surviving.
It's like you're pointing at the sky of like, there's a giant ball of fire in the sky, and the supervisor just doesn't even see it.
And it's like, but they're going to do the thing, and he, the anomaly, is going to do this. And the superior's like, well, it's an anomaly.
Maybe dissect it. That sounds fine.
Maybe dissect it. We must destroy it. No, dissect it.
Dissect
learn from it.
Save the science for the scientists. Maybe just, you cut into it if you feel the need. But, like just
my one more thing is really quick. Because my one more thing is that butt slap.
I mean,
sure. My one more thing is that butt slap. I thought it was lovely. I thought it was a wonderful moment between two characters who deserve all of the happiness that they have found.
Yes, it was a very good butt slap. Can I just say how much it pleases me that Faux Olivia has ended up having the hots for our Agent Lincoln.
I know.
Like
totally reinforcing the no, really, Frosted Tips, she's just that not into you. Like,
yeah. Like really, really, Frosted Tips, she likes nice guys.
She likes them, she likes the good guys, not the nice guys.
That's right. Great butt slap.
I also like
our Lincoln took her to like Italian restaurants and candlelit dinners, and I bet Frosted Tips was just like, let's go get a beer.
Yeah, what if we went and got some whiskeys and danced the night away? Like, whatever, dude.
No, Faux Olivia's got to be the one who is like, that's our date for tonight, and then our Lincoln's like, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds like fun. But then like nice. He goes all out on like anniversaries and like. And he's like schmaltzy, and she's like, I didn't even know I wanted schmaltz until I met you. And actually, I think I might like schmaltz.
And then she's schmaltzy back, because she had the schmaltz in her all along.
She wasn't only
she had the schmaltz, and she lost the schmaltz because she had to go undercover, and she lost it. She could,
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, that version of her no longer exists, which is why we're now okay with this version of her being happy.
Yes.
This version of her didn't do that.
Can I just say, so I love her 20-year age up where it's like her bangs are now swept to the side because full bangs are either a young woman's game or a Nina Sharp game. There is no in between.
Absolutely
none. She still never got rid of them. She still loves her Fringe.
But they're the 40-year-old swept to the side, which I have to do now. I admit it. I do it. I have to do it. I don't know if I could do a full Nina Sharp Fringe anymore. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I've never been able to. I tried it precisely once, and I looked 5.
No, I did it, and I loved it when I did it.
It was not a good look for me.
But, But now I'm also like, I should just do the full Elliot from The Magicians and just, like, shave my head, but have, like, a big poofy
The little, one of these.
Yeah,
those things.
Just like a big,
or, like, a little, like, a la Lars a little bit from
it's just like
Steven Universe.
My hair's
like
not clear enough. I obviously need to adjust this.
Listeners, you can't see the motions we're making with our hands.
And you're just like, this is not a visual media, Danielle. Background because I had this thought minutes ago and I let them go because I thought it was funny.
Okay, we've taken you off track. We have to take this conversation off pod. So why don't we say goodbye for now before next week?
Yes.
Yes.
Where we actually wrap up Fringe.
Yeah.
The Fringe wrap up.
The fringiest of Fringe.
Wrap up.
The lunatic Fringe wrap up.
Okay. We would love to hear from you. Please check us out at Binge O'Clock Pod on Twitter and Facebook, where you can answer the question, who is your favorite kid character from a TV show or movie? You can also email us at bingeoclockpod@gmail.com. And don't forget, we have a Patreon. Find us at patreon.com/BachPod.
That's right. And tell your friends, tell your family, tell your loved ones, tell the live lobsters in your life about Binge O'Clock, and we will see you next time.
Okay, so when we were originally talking this, like before we said TV show, and maybe because we saw everything everywhere all at once again, but my brain instantly went to, look, I know the movie is racist as hell, but Short Round. I love Short Round. He is the greatest kid ever. He is perfect, and I would die for Short Round. I would.
Yes.
I mean, he is just a precious cinnamon roll who just wants to science.
He
run.
is street smart, but he deserves love and affection, and we should. And if he is in danger, you'd better protect the hell out of him. But then I was like, okay, but she said then TV show, so then obviously it's Steven Universe, who is also precious and pure and street smart and needs to be protected at all costs.
Is he street smart?
He's galaxy smart.
Okay, he's galaxy smart.
Yes.
Or Beach Town smart. It's one or the two.
Smart. The mean streets of Beach City. Sorry.
He knows the perfect time to go to the donut shop in order to get his donut.
Exactly.
He knows when to go to the fry shop to get the bits. Like, he knows Beach Town.
Yeah. No, those are them. I would die for them.
Oh no.
I never have an answer. That's why we can just cut it off right there if you want.
We could just cut it off right there.
Literally never have an answer.
I know. Well, it's just funny because I feel like I've seen so many good kid characters like in all the things I've ever watched in like the 90s and stuff. But I think if I have to pick one that's not Steven Universe, I think probably the daughter from Lucifer. I think that I think she's like really well-rounded. She's different. She's like a little troublemaker, but like never anything too intense, and like she knows what she wants, and like it's just nice. It's nice to see a kid be a little bit like a snarky little kid, and probably Henry from Once Upon a Time because I am who I am.
Because you are.
I am who I am.
I love that. I continue to be a person who can't make choices. My favorites are all the kids.
All the kids everywhere.
All the kids everywhere all at once. Also, everyone go see that movie, please.
Yeah, please.
I would also die for like the entire friend group of Turning Red.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would put my body in front of a bus to protect them. So good, so pure.